Hello and welcome to 360 Gamercast, episode 734 for Tuesday, the 3rd of June, 2025. I'm your host, Mark Webb, Gamertag, Pearson ID, Steam ID, Webby 360G, and joining me today is...
It's Graham again, or GHammox14.
Hey, it's WhatsMyTag.
What is your tag? It's still unknown.
That's what I asked myself.
It's the eternal question. So, for those of you that don't know, Tag has been a long-time listener of the show. I believe you've been on as a guest before, Tag, haven't you? I'm sure you have.
I don't think so.
Haven't you?
I'm pretty sure this is the first time.
Okay. Well, anyway, you've been a long-term listener, long-term community member, long-time Patreon subscriber as well, which is awesome. And you answered the call, because otherwise it would have been me and Graham only this week, and you joined us on this week's show. So thank you very much for that. Fantastic.
No worries.
Okay. So Old Man Off-Grid AK, he's answered. He says he has no AK-47, but he does live in Alaska. This is Deathly Dabs. I know Deathly Dabs.
Yeah.
Awesome dude. Did you know, Dabs, I have been to Alaska. In 2011, I visited your... I probably visited your town, maybe, I don't know. But it was an interesting time, because at that time, I believe the hunt for Osama bin Laden was still going on, or it just ended. I can't remember the exact time scale. And it always stuck in my mind because I was in Fairbanks and I was with my ex-girlfriend at the time. Basically, we're staying on an American military base in Alaska because her brother was on the military base with his wife. Anyway, we went to the gun shop there because he wanted to take me shooting in the woods. And we went into the gun shop, and because he said, ammo's expensive, Webby, you need to pay for the bullets. So I was like, well, that's fair enough, mate, you're taking me shooting. But we also bought some targets, and we bought a load of targets in the shop, which were Osama bin Laden targets. And then we set them, and then we went to the woods. We set them all up in the woods, and then spent a couple of hours shooting them. Yeah, so that was cool. And also at the time, I was really into Ice Road Truckers. Great show, and we went and visited the depot, the main kind of hub, and stuff. So yeah, it's a lovely place. Yeah. So, anyway, should we talk about games?
Yes.
Games, video games. Rightio. Well, I know Tag's guesting on here, and Graham, you've not played loads this week, but...
No.
I just wanted to start off by saying that I did something this week. I subscribed to Uplay Plus for a month. £15 whole for the month. So you can imagine I've been playing quite a lot of Ubishite games this past week. And surprisingly, it hasn't all been shite, to be fair. So it's not going to be all down in the dumps type of chit chat from me this week, but there'll be some negativity, but quite a bit of positivity as well, which is quite nice. So I'm going to start off by talking about some quite big positivity. And one of the reasons why I subscribed to Uplay Plus was there was a new DLC released for The Division 2 this week called The Battle for Brooklyn. And as you may know, I'm a huge fan of the Division 2. And so I've been playing it this week. I actually completed the DLC. twice, all of it. And I'll tell you why. So basically, when the Division 2 came out 7 years ago, I can't believe it's been 7 years. And this is why I wanted to talk about it as well, because it doesn't feel like a 7-year-old game. Sorry, I've got music playing from a Steam game I was watching, and it does sound like, and if that came through your speakers, it's not porn. It is Japanese Drift Master on Steam. I was looking at it earlier. So, and it's got funky music. So, just so people know that. All right. So, I just wanted to put that out there before people like going, what the fuck are you listening to? Anyway, so basically, the reason why I subscribed to Uplay Plus for the month was mainly because of this DLC. Now, the DLC's cheap. It's only like 12 quid. But when the game came out 7 years ago, still feeling old, I bought the game and rinsed it on PC. Absolutely loved it. Got a group of people. I found a group of people online and hammered it. Did one of the raids and all sorts of... I fucking love this game. Anyway, fast forward... many years later, I probably was about 2 years ago now, actually. So 5 years into the game, Peebs was interested in the game, but obviously knowing Peebs, at the time he was predominantly Xbox. At the time, he's a console player, and this game came out just before that kind of that crossplay thing came out for most games. You know, it wasn't really the thing then. So there's no cross-play in this. So I said to Peeps, look, it's on a deep sale. I'll pick it up and I'll play it. I'll play through it with you because I fucking love the game. So I've played through the full game at least twice, probably 3 or 4 times now, to be fair. But I've got a character on PC and a character on Xbox. Now, the reason why I subscribe to Uplay Plus, and this is actually, I know it's more expensive than Game Pass, but it's actually not a bad deal when you think about it. Because you pay your £15 for the month and you get the ultimate edition of every of every Ubisoft game and all the DLCs. Yeah. And those games, and when you subscribe, that gives you all the games on PC and Xbox. Yeah. Which I think isn't bad, to be fair.
Pretty good getting the DLC.
Sorry?
It's pretty good getting all the DLC with that.
Yeah, because as I say, it's all of the Ultimate Editions, right? So I thought to myself, well, I know what I'm like with video games. Within a month, I would have put it down and moved on to something else anyway. So, I did the thing of I subscribed for the month, but then went straight onto my account and cancelled it. So I know, in a month's time it will run out, and I won't, it won't be that annoying thing of, oh fucking hell, the payments come out again and it's rolled on. You know what I mean? So, I know that it will stop. So, I'm going to give a big shout out to Pudster on Xbox for playing through the campaign with me on the Xbox console. It's been really nice, actually, because I haven't gamed with Pudster for a while from the community, because he plays a lot of the Division 2 anyway, and a few other, those kind of grindy games. The First Descendant is another one he plays a lot. So went through the campaign with him, and that was fun, and then went on and helped to Coopster from the community with it last night as well, because he just bought it. And then on PC, I started the campaign, the DLC again, a little bit on my own with randoms, but then with Turner from the community. So for those of you who don't know Turner, he's Australian, so obviously the hours kind of don't really match up too well, but we managed to get on for a couple of hours the other day and do a few missions together with his friends from his Discord community. And then last night I downloaded the Division 2 onto my Steam Deck because you can sideload the other launches onto the Steam Deck. So like Ubisoft Connect, EA Play, Battle.net and stuff like that. So I downloaded the Division 2 onto my Steam Deck. Runs like a dream. And did a few of the missions last night on there as well, and had a blast with it. So, really digging the game again because in the time since I've played it before, they've added a lot of extra content just on the main map, and they've done it, you know. And I know we slag off Ubisoft quite a bit for more recent games, but they do seem to look after their games for quite a long time, like keep on updating them, giving them DLC, etc. So, and the Division 2 is a really good example of that because, I say, it's 7 years old. Every week, stuff changes because there's like weekly things to do, and then they have kept on updating it with DLC content throughout those years. And to think like, and you think to yourself, what company still releases DLC for a game that's 7 years old? Not many, if any at all. It's usually if it's an MMO, then yeah, but for a normal kind of game, no, they would have moved on and done a third game by now or something. So, you know, got to give them big props for that. But also what stands out to me with this game is for its age as well, it looks phenomenal. It really looks stunning. Like, if this game came out next week, looking as it does now, you know, no one would bat an eyelid. Most people would be like, yeah, it's a modern game, you know? And I think that is insane. Like, the first thing I did when I loaded it up, but on both Xbox and my PC, was just like look around. Like, you know, I went into the Brooklyn DLC and I looked around in the world and I just thought, fucking hell, this game looks stunning, you know? And it still plays really well. It's very smooth and it's just fun, you know. It's got a cool little story going on, but I think the attraction to me is it does a lot of things right. Like, it does the co-op right. You know, if you go into a game where someone's brand new and obviously you're like maxed out level 40 with, you know, all your other thing, you know, you've upgraded all your weapons and your watch and all the other bits and pieces, because the game has got quite a lot of upgrading things that you can do. But if you go in with, say, if Tag just bought the game today and I joined him, it levels it out, so no one's overpowered or really underpowered. You're at that kind of level together, if that makes sense. So it just makes it an enjoyable experience for both people, which is really cool. Yeah, man. So yeah, I'm really impressed with how much fun it still is. It's definitely brought a few people from the community back into the game, which is really cool to see. And this is what I'd like to see more of, like companies looking after their titles, which are very high quality, and just keep them going. So, yeah, I'm really, really impressed with the Division 2 at the minute. I'm intrigued to see if there's going to be any more DLC for this, because there's still rumours of a Division 3, but we don't know when it's coming out, how far into the dev cycle they are with the Division 3. Don't know. No clue. But Division 2 is a great game. Absolutely fantastic. One of my favourite games ever at the minute. And as I say, it's, you know, it takes a lot for me to play through a game, you know, more than once. And as I say, I've got multiple characters on, you know, 2 characters on 2 different systems, done all the content more than twice because I've helped other people out, etc., etc. But I don't mind that because, you know, I have fun just by playing this game online with people, and yeah, it's really nice to see something positive come out of Ubisoft, because there's been a lot of negativity the last couple of years. So Yeah, Division 2 is a fantastic game. Check it out if you don't have it. It just released on Game Pass this week as well, the same day the DLC come out, funnily enough. It's also on Steam and Ubisoft Connect, £2.50 to purchase the game. So,
Cool.
you know, if you want a bargain and you don't own it yet, check it out. And then who knows, you might want to buy the DLC at some point down the line. So yeah, that's me. That is the Division 2 and something positive before the negativity, some negativity later. So we'll get on to Graham. Thank you. Oh, and before Graham, sorry, I just want to say hello to Daddy Ikin, who said hello in the Twitch chat. Hope you're doing well.
Daddy Ikin, how are you?
Yeah. Sorry, Graham. You carry on, mate.
So I will fill in for Nick as he's not here. This is VR Corner. I was talking a few weeks ago about Arizona Sunshine remake came out and it was quite cheap.
Yeah.
So I wishlisted the second one.
Oh.
And it went on sale. For half price. And I think it's like $18.99 or $19.99. And I think it includes all of the DLC and all of the add-on packs.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
So I picked it up this afternoon. I haven't played a hell of a lot of it. I've done the first sort of couple of hours, I guess. But what's quite nice, and I don't think it's a spoiler because it's in the trailer. One of the big new mechanics is that you find a dog. A dog is your sidekick. And the dog has two functions. The dog is basically extended inventory. So if you have extra guns, you can store them on the dog's sort of body harness. And what you can do, and you can point your left stick at zombies and highlight where you want to send the dog. So if you're in a bit of a tight corner and you're low on ammo and you're fumbling, you can actually get the dog. You can ask the dog to basically attack certain enemies that are coming towards you. It's quite interesting. It's got quite a lot of sort of moments of sort of traversal where you have to go across high areas by kind of doing like a hand over hand sort of shuffle along pipes about 15 feet up and things over great big courtyards with zombies underneath you. Like I say, I haven't played a heck of a lot yet, but it's kind of more of the same. It just feels a little bit more refined than the first one.
Okay.
Again, like the first one, my only real grumble is you can, because on the PSVR you actually have you have a left and a right thumb button, and you can actually select from the menu, for example, when you're picking guns up, whether you want to toggle or whether you want to hold the button in order to hold the pistol, which I don't like, because if you're having to hold that thumb button down, it's very difficult to move the stick on the right hand, for example, while do you know what I mean? You're holding your thumb down. So I like to keep my right thumb for kind of pointing where my head is going to face.
Okay.
So it'll let you toggle guns, but it won't let you toggle, like, if you pick up a machete or an axe, rather annoyingly. But they are quite the melee weapons are quite satisfying to use. The first weapon you get is a great big, like a 10-inch machete, and you can kind of walk down corridors and just basically slice zombies in the head. And it's sort of very slightly cartoony in the way that it's styled, but it is still pretty gross. And you see, splatter and body parts and blood and stuff running down walls. It's quite gross, but no, I mean, again, it's a fairly interesting campaign. It's the same protagonist from like the first game, and the idea is I think you're holed up somewhere, and he decides that he's going to try and break out and get back to sort of civilization or get back to other humans and try and kind of get out of his sort of predicament where he's stuck. But no, for the price, it's definitely worth a look if you've got PSVR, or I'm sure it's probably out on other formats as well. But definitely worth a look. Headshotting zombies is it's just a good fun way to unwind. Really, it's kind of that power fantasy sort of game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Nice. Cool.
But no, that's quite good. Yeah.
A big hello to Mr. Jelly in the Twitch. Hope you're doing well. Nice to see you here. Tag, talk to us about a game you've been playing this week, mate.
Yeah, I mean, main thing was probably Helldivers. I don't know if you've played it recently. They launched a big update like 3 or 4 weeks ago, but pretty much one of the enemies, the Illuminate, the squid-looking guys, they reached Super Earth, and they were pretty much doing a full-on invasion. And it finished like a day or two ago. But I was on that for a few hours. It was actually really cool.
So they've added Super Earth to as a gameplay map.
Yeah,
then.
they added Super Earth, and then the Illuminate reached there. Like they destroyed Mars on the way. They destroyed a few other planets.
Oh wow!
And pretty much like 90-something% of the player base was like just on Super Earth doing the missions, trying to defend it.
Wow, that's really
I read they reached like 3.4 million players over the past, like, during this whole onslaught, logging on to the game to play, which is like, I think it was their biggest spike since they launched.
Wow.
But yeah, no, it was like it was really cool. Like they it's like their Twitter thing like just makes it like such a Starship Troopers feel. Like the super president was killed in action defending. And then at certain times, like some of the US cities were almost going to fall. So all the Chinese players hopped over to the US cities to defend them and get them back up.
That's cool.
But yeah, like most of the missions were mostly just like defending sites while rockets could launch and stuff. And they added like the Super Earth soldiers as well. So in almost all the missions, like there's AI soldiers fighting the Illuminate as well, and then there's civilians running around trying to escape. But you can interact with them as well. Like you can go up to them and like do the emote for follow me, and then you pretty much have you can have like 6 or 7 of them following you around doing the mission.
Oh, that's wicked.
And they're like, as you're going by, they're like telling you they love you and stuff and all this. But yeah, like it's absolutely awesome. Like we had a few. I was doing it all with randoms. We had a few missions where like 4 of us had mortar turrets going off at the same time, and it was just absolute chaos. Like most of the missions, I end up bringing 4 turrets myself, like the machine gun turret, the Gatling turret, the mortar turret, and the rocket turret, and just throw them all out at the same time, and it's just absolute chaos. Especially like with the engine they use, like the explosions look so good. And when you've got like, I think at one stage we had 7 or 8 turrets all out at the same time, and it was just absolute chaos. It's still like, it's such a fun game.
Yeah, the only thing that annoys me with Helldivers too, it's not a negative against the game because I think it's a really fun game to play, is it's my own stupidity of I bought it on PlayStation instead of PC, and there's no your saves don't carry across between platforms. And ideally, because at the minute on PC it's like 21 quid, which is like you know,
that's the one thing stopping me from buying it on PC as well.
Yeah,
it'll take 20 or 30 hours to get all your stuff back unlocked again.
But I don't have PS Plus at the minute. But my thought process is, well, PS Plus is like £14 a month or whatever, off the top of my head. You know, but that I could pay that 2 months of PS Plus. I could buy the game and have change. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of in that limbo land of I don't want to be paying for PS Plus just to play this. You know, I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, because what will happen is I'll end up probably playing it once or twice, and then no one will be online, and then you know before we know it, the month's over. You know what I mean? So, so it's just my own tightness really, which is stopping me from playing it. To be completely honest, but it's really good that they're still supporting it. And you know, adding extra worlds and new missions and things, because that's the sort of thing that keeps people coming back.
Yeah, I don't know what the target is now. Like, they spent the last 3 or 4 weeks just fighting the same enemy, and I'm going to assume everybody got bored of it, so they might put everybody on the bugs or the automatons next.
Right.
But no, like it sort of felt like they closed the chapter of the first, it's out a year?
Yeah.
1 or 2 years, I forget which. It feels like they closed the chapter on the first part of a trilogy or something. And then they're going to just get everybody to like go to one of the enemy's homeworlds and try and take them out or something. But yeah, no, it was a really cool few weeks on that.
Yeah, it's even better when you can get some friends on, and when it came out, it was kind of like the 360 all over again, because everyone was hopping on the PlayStation, and you just randomly, like, you could see quite a lot of people on your friends list playing it, so you just randomly join their game and hop in a party chat and chat shit and shoot some bugs or whatever. But then, like all good things, it kind of came to an end as people were dropping off it. And these days, when I look on my PlayStation app, which is, I don't a lot these days, but I do from time to time, I see people mainly playing single player games. So I'm just kind of like, well, all right. Obviously, people have fallen off it,
Yeah, I think there's just too many things to play.
Yeah,
it's really hard for people to stay on the same thing all the time.
100% agree. Oh, good, mate. I'm glad you've been enjoying that. Good times. I just want to give another shout out on Twitch to Luke Newcomb. Hope you're doing well, Luke. He says, "Hey dudes, not watched for a long time. How are you all? I've been busy with fatherhood of my first child." So,
wow.
Congratulations, Luke, on
Congrats.
becoming a dad. It's not easy, but don't use having a child as an excuse to give up on your number one hobby of playing video games and listening to this podcast.
Yep.
Hasn't stopped me gaming, mate. So there's no excuse. Some people, when they have kids, give up gaming completely. There's a few people in this, like, I can't remember if you guys remember Euthanasia on Xbox. You remember him? Like, as soon as he had a kid, he just vanished off the face of the earth. I even went and met him in Boston one time. But he's vanished, and a few other people vanished, like Headcase and other people. So, sad times. But yeah, keep the hobby going, Luke. But congrats, it's awesome. Get your kids involved. I'll get my kids bloody hell all this week. And I say not all weekend because we've been out and about in the sunshine. But both my kids have spent a good few hours playing some Minecraft together over this weekend. It's quite funny to watch. So yeah, all good, mate. Right, let's get back into Ubishite then, shall we? Actually, I'm going to be positive again. I'm going to do another positive one. So I'm going to talk about, I'm not for too long this time. And this is another reason why I did the Ubisoft Connect Plus thing. The Crew Motorfest. Oh, I'm fucking loving this game at the minute, I tell you. And I'll tell you why. They've added so much new content to this game. It is unbelievable. So I bought the game on Xbox when it was on a deep sale over a year ago. Probably paid about 15 quid for it. Played it quite a bit. The good thing about all Ubisoft games now is they all of your save data goes onto their servers. So I've been playing this on my PC and my Xbox, and the save just carries on between the two systems, which one is fucking awesome. And, well, actually just one. So that's just fucking awesome, right? So, yeah, so for free, they've added loads of new content. And so they've added a new island, Oahu. So the original Motorfest is on Hawaii Island, and then they've added Oahu Island. I don't know how to fucking pronounce it. I'm British, for fuck's sake. But anyway, they've added the other island, with loads of extra stuff. But what they've made it really is Red Bull Island. And I know you're thinking, what the fuck? But Red Bull obviously are very known for their motorsports, right? Mainly for F1, but also, you know, they do all their planes, don't they? Like the Red Bull Air Race, the motocross stuff that they do, the rally stuff that they do. You know, they do a lot of stuff. Yeah. So, I'm trying to find some of this bloody. So I'm just trying to find some of this video stuff. And there we go. So anyway, so basically, so what's got me really into to back into it is a lot of it is the Red Bull stuff, because they've added like this whole Red Bull play area to the island where you can just jump in. You know, it doesn't matter what kind, but it's got like ramps and it's got a cannon and loads of balloons to fly in and out in your plane and that if you want to dick around. But then they actually have 2 Red Bull playlists on there, and they have the rallying, the dirt cross. They've got boat stuff, they've got plane stuff, they've got F1 stuff. So they mix and mash it all into the different game, into the different races. But they've got ones like they do on Top Gear, like a plane versus a car, stuff like that. And at the beginning, you choose what you want to play as, a car or a plane. And then you're racing the other one, which is obviously the AI. It's just a bit of fun. So, been really enjoying that, to be honest. And they also added in the audio a couple of Red Bull playlists. They've got music, but also a podcast on there. And in the podcast, you can choose between the tracks, but they interview like Yuki Tsunoda, other Red Bull like famous drivers and stuff. And it just adds to that experience. It's just a lot of fun. So, yeah, I've been really enjoying that, to be honest. And obviously just exploring the big world, because I say that Motorfest came out a couple of years ago, but the graphics on it are absolutely stunning, especially on PC in ultra wide as well. It just looks wow. But even on Xbox, it looks wow. And it's just kind of that. I mean, I love my driving games. I play a lot of driving games. And, you know, it's just Ubisoft's take on that kind of Forza Horizon type game, but they do it different, because obviously Forza Horizon, this does copy a lot from it with the big open world, and it's kind of a festival, but it's not. The thing with the crew is it's not just cars, you know, it is planes and boats as well, and bikes. So it adds something different to it. And when you're just driving around the island, you can click in your right thumbstick and just quickly switch between a plane, a boat, or a car, you know, and it just makes it just fun. It's just silly fun, right? So been really enjoying that Red Bull content a lot this past week. Finished it. And I just had a blast. Being a big Red Bull F1 fan anyway, myself, was really geared at me anyway. But also they added some downloadable content, like some paid-for DLC to the Crew Motorfest. And it's basically, do you remember Need for Speed Hot Pursuit?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a new game mode which is like that. I'm trying to remember the name of the. So basically, it's a year 2 pass, but it's called. Hang on, I'm just trying to find the Chase Squad. That's it, Chase Squad. So let me just. So basically, if you remember the Need for Speed Hot Pursuit games, it's basically a mode like that, where you play as cops and you got to chase down, you know, the cars who are getting away, the speeders or whatever, and you got to smash them off the road and arrest them using any means necessary. All just done in a silly kind of fun way, you know, not, you know, it's not serious at all. And it's some really cool cars, and the graphics are cool. So like the cop cars themselves, obviously they have the cop lights on, but they've got like these really cool, like blue underglow under the car, and they've got these LED lights going all around the car, and they just look really cool. And as well as just, the gameplay itself just being really fun. So, as I say, it's just added something completely different to the gaming experience of just racing or flying, etc. They've added this whole new cop chase mode thing. And, for those of us that, had a lot of fun playing the Need for Speed Hot Pursuit type games, this just kind of brings all those memories and vibes back to like a modern game. So, yeah, this game, man, it has a lot of content, a hell of a lot of content. It has, you look at the map and, there's a lot of different playlists that you can do. I mean, the way I do it is I press start and I go to there's like an activity menu and it just lists. I've still got loads I haven't done yet. And they're basically just like activities which encompass like 8 races or challenges to do. And then also what they add is to keep people coming back to the game is weekly challenges. So you got it's called the Summit at the minute, and at the moment it's all Red Bull themed. So last week's one I managed to do it all, and it was rallying. It was rally cars, but it was like Red Bull rally cars. And then basically you got to like all your points accumulate from the 9 races or challenges that are in there. And then the more points you have, like it splits off into tiers, and then the top tier is like a new car. So if you get into that tier for the week, you get a car, and then it goes down to like you get XP or components for your cars, because all the cars in the game you can upgrade as well. And then this week's one is monster trucks. So there's a load of monster truck challenges and races, and a lot of those are Red Bull themed as well, and just a lot of fun. So yeah, I wouldn't. I know the crew games were never super popular, but I've always enjoyed them. The crew 1 and the crew 2, I loved. I put a lot of hours into them. I thought it was just something cool that it, was set in in America, and it kind of mapped out the country in a way, obviously to a much smaller scale. And with this one, it's just opened it up into that just fun, and it's just something different to Forza Horizon. So definitely check it out. And again, that's another reason why I subscribed to the Ubisoft Plus for the month, because that gave me that Chase Squad DLC pack, to play as part of that subscription as well. So out of that, I've got, for that 15 quid for the month, I managed, I've rinsed the Division 2 DLC twice, and all the DLC as part of that pack in the Crew Motorfest already as well. And the Crew DLC is 25 quid. So, I think I've got my money's worth out of that 1 month already, without talking about the other games, which I'll be slating very shortly. So, okay. Yeah, no, it's a great game. So I just wanted to be very positive. Initially, the Division 2, amazing. The Crew Motorfest, fucking great game. But I think it goes to show, because I'm being very positive about the slightly older games from Ubisoft. Yeah, whereas the more recent games, not really up to the standard of the games that I've been really positive about. But we'll get to those in a bit. So we'll go back to you, Graham.
I've played. I have played. My gaming time has been quite limited this week, but I have put another kind of 3 or 4 hours into the Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh, what a game!
Yeah, I'm just really enjoying it. I'm getting into the systems, learning lots of new spells, done some side quests. And it's just the level of detail in this game is just things like when you've got cutscenes outside. If it's raining very slightly, you actually see the droplets of water, kind of running down their sort of outfits in real time.
Yeah.
Just that sort of, that level of detail I've done. It's probably not a spoiler, because I think the game's a couple of years old now. But I've done the mission where you go to the library and you kind of make yourself invisible, and I've opened that quest line where you find the guy who was killed in the cave with all the spiders.
Yeah.
So I've kind of done that, and I quite enjoyed the puzzles, and you have to use your magic to pull the sort of floating platforms around. I thought that was quite interesting, and I thought the combat was actually sort of quite interesting and engaging. It's just that the more you play it, the more it kind of gives you, and it's kind of really well written. The voice acting is pretty good. I mean, in places the sort of synchronization with the lip syncing isn't great, but I mean it's a pretty good looking game considering it was kind of I think it was originally, was it PS4 originally, wasn't it? I think, or it was last gen.
Was it? I can't remember.
Was it?
No, it came out current gen, and then they ported it to last gen from memory.
Okay.
Yes,
Right.
I think that's right.
But I mean, it's a pretty good looking game. Load times are incredibly quick. It's really well optimized. It plays well. I mean, the only thing I'd grumble about is sometimes the menus can feel a little bit kind of cumbersome, but other than that, I mean, it's things like initially I couldn't work out how to switch your active equipped spells, but you have to do it by holding the cross pad down and not by going into the menu, or at least do on the PS5, which I thought was a little bit odd, but
right.
Once I'd worked that out, I kind of didn't have a lot of other problems, but it just felt like a really strange place to put it. But there you go, that's the design they went with. But no, and again, I'm kind of sort of sinking a little bit of time into it here and there, and it just continues to surprise me. It's not a game when it came out that I was in a rush to go out and buy or play, but now I've tried it, I'm actually sort of wishing I'd gone into it a bit earlier, you know?
I think the year it came out, it was the best-selling game of the year, wasn't it, as well? Obviously, Harry Potter is a big following. But no, it's a great game. It's a great game. In my household, it's been completed 3 times.
Nice.
By 3 different people, myself, my wife, and my son. So, yeah. Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's got a lot going for it.
Good, I'm glad. And a big thank you to Old Man Off the Grid for subscribing to the Twitch with Prime. Thank you very much.
Nice.
Tag, back to you, mate.
All right. Yeah, I think the only other thing I've really played this week is the Precinct. I know you talked about that a few weeks ago.
Great game.
Ended up buying it just based off the podcast, but it's just so good, man. It's like, I mean, for anyone that doesn't know, it's like it sort of feels like an GTA where you're playing as the cops.
Yeah.
But it's got a real 80s feel to it, and it's got like 80s guitar when your shift finishes. It's got like,
well, it's set in the
really
80s.
Good 80s synthwave music when it's like when you're doing chases and stuff, and it's just everything about it's just so good. Yeah, I'm like 10 hours in. I've taken down one of the crime gangs.
Nice.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. It's like I spent like an hour just doing a helicopter patrol.
Yeah,
and I've upgraded all of the. You've got like 4 skill trees. I've upgraded the one that lets you call in extra backups, and it's just so satisfying chasing a car in a helicopter and you just call in backup after backup, and just watching the AI just try and take it down.
The only thing that I find annoying is when you call in a spike strip and then the car immediately turns off and the spike strip's down the other road.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, they seem to have different like AI trees and that as well, because sometimes sometimes they'll see the spike strip and turn around. Sometimes they'll see it just go around, like they'll drive up onto the path to get past it. It's pretty damn fun. And it's like it was like 15 or 20 quid on Steam.
Yeah, it's a cheap game. I think even on console it's only like a 20 quid game. I think it's great because it's something different. It's it's that isometric view in usually games like open world games in a city, you're playing as just a dude and you can just commit crimes and fanny around like in GTA. Whereas on this, you are the cop. So you're like, it's just the opposite type of gameplay because you're watching out for people doing just breaking the law or the radios calling in for backup or for reports of robberies or speeding or other types of crime, and then you respond, and it can go anyway. It's very random. And I think the art style is pretty cool as well because it's kind of that weird cell shaded type graphics, but the lighting on it's just phenomenal. Like it's so
it looks really
gorgeous.
Good. Even on the Steam Deck settings, where I think everything is dropped down to the minimum, it still looks really, really good.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. So definitely, it's one of those games I definitely recommend to people if they're looking for something a little bit different, something that isn't going to break the bank. Just to enjoy. And there's a little bit of grinding to it, though, I think, because obviously to take down to engage the story, to get the story even further, there's a little bit of doing your shifts day by day. And as you arrest people, you pick up the evidence, and the evidence, it accumulates to, something happening in the main story against one of the gangs, if that makes sense. So sometimes you can be playing it and thinking, oh, come on, when's the next big story beat going to hit? But just that gameplay loop itself is fun because very early on it gets to that point where you choose what you're going to do for that shift, be it foot patrol, car patrol, or in the helicopter, etc. So, at least you have that little bit of choice there.
Yeah, no, it's pretty chill, but it's like, yeah.
And
I totally recommend it.
And the thing I find quite interesting is when you're arresting someone, you have to choose what to arrest them for, and then you lose points if you get it wrong, but you gain XP if you get it all right. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a cool game. Awesome, mate. It's back to me. I'm going to annoy. I'm probably going to piss off a few people, but I don't care. I already upset Sly Ullman this week by saying this, because I obviously with Uplay Plus, he recommended to me. He said to me, "Webby, you got the Uplay Plus. Check out Assassin's Creed Mirage. It's fucking amazing." I was like, really? I'll give it a go. Fucking shit, mate. I played it. I did give it a fair chance. I played it for 5 hours, right, which is plenty of time to give it a fair shout. Now, the reason that Sly really enjoyed this was because he says it harkened back to the original Assassin's Creed. And it does do that to some degree, but I think it wasn't really the gameplay for me that I didn't enjoy, because it is kind of that being stealthy, sneaking into areas, blending in, all that jazz as we know from Assassin's Creed. It's more for me was the setting is shite. It's in Baghdad, right? So it's basically just mud fucking huts. You know what I mean? And you go into that from, the early Assassin's Creed, and you've got all those big cathedrals and the lovely cities and all the architecture. You know what I mean? And you're going from that to this, and you're like, I'm in the desert. It's mud huts and shit. It's not great. You know what I mean? So for me, that was the first thing. Secondly, graphically, I think it's very average, to be honest. I came from playing The Division to this, and remember that Division's 7 years old. This is a much newer game, and I was playing this thinking, well, The Division looks better than this. What the fuck? And then the other thing was just, I think it was just the story. I just couldn't, just was a bit bleh. And then the voice, like the lip syncing with the voices is out of sync. And also it's got this really weird thing on Xbox where with the HDR on, it looks really washed out. It just looks really weird. And I Googled this issue, and the only thing, and there was a fix to this, and the fix was, right, go into your Xbox settings, turn off HDR, load up the game so it's not on HDR, go to the graphics settings, turn the contrast up to 8, save the game, quit the game, go back to your Xbox settings, turn HDR back on, then when you load the game, that contrast setting will be saved, but then the HDR won't look as washed out. And I was like, what the fuck? You shouldn't have to fanny around like this on a console game. This is the sort of shit I expect from a PC. So I was just like, look, I'll give it some time. So I played it for 5 hours, and I was just like, and I felt, and the reason I deleted it was just because I felt like I was just forcing myself to play it, just because I had the subscription to Ubisoft. I was like, I'm not enjoying myself. I'm just going to fucking delete it. So that's a big from me, and it's a shame because I've always really enjoyed the Assassin's Creed games up to a point. I felt Valhalla, even though it was enjoyable, was just too big. And I think they went the opposite with this. They made it a very small game because basically the only area is Baghdad, and there's a tiny little bit around on the outside, and that's it. So it's a very small game. I did read online it only takes about 15 hours to finish. So it's about a quarter of a way through, really, well, a third through. But no, I just wanted to give it a go, just to see what it was like, because obviously Elliot had recommended it. But unfortunately, it just wasn't for me. And I know other people think it's great, and if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. It's your own thing, right? But not a Webby game. And no, before you ask, I have not installed or tried Assassin's Creed Shadows. So, and I won't be because no. But Mirage, big thumbs down from Webby. And I did have a look actually on the reviews, and it is one of the lowest rated Assassin's Creed games as well. So I'm not the only person. So that's a little bit of a negative, but on the positive, I got to try it, right? Without having to buy it. So, at least I can say that as a positive. But that is it. So, yeah, back to you, Graham.
Well, I haven't really played a hell of a lot more, really. I've done the odd bit of Balatro here and there, but other than that, not really sort of played anything big other than Harry Potter and Arizona Sunshine over the last week, really. I'm afraid to say.
That's all good, mate. It's all good when you have limited time in our lives.
Well, especially me this week. I tell you, I've been out like every night this week.
Mate, what does it feel like to have a social life? Because I have no idea.
I don't know. I think it's overrated. This whole going out is rubbish. The graphics are shit.
Well, it's really weird. I was thinking about this earlier, and I was just going off topic a little bit. And my children are, they're still very young, 7 and 5. And I was thinking about this yesterday because Peebs had his kids very young. Me and Peebs are a similar age. He's only a few years older than me. And his kids have grown up. He's got 3 kids. They've grown up and moved out now. So his kind of life is own. And this weekend, he was in London on a party boat on the Thames. And I was thinking to myself, fucking hell, how different are our lives? Because, I was doing shit like that in my 20s. And now, I struggle to stay up past 10 o'clock at night because my bloody kids are up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm doing stuff with, my weekends revolve around doing stuff with the family, with the kids, right? But obviously Peeps doesn't have that anymore, and he's out partying and stuff like that. And I think, fucking hell, how different are our lives? You know, because when the podcast started, 18 years ago, obviously his kids still at home and he couldn't really get out as much, and et cetera, et cetera. And the same with Colin a little bit as well, because Colin's kids are older now and they don't do as much, and he's out and about and gaming less anyway. He's out and doing stuff on the weekends like biking and things like that, skiing. And it just I was just thinking like how people's lives change over time, like in gaming, like because we all know each other online, we all have our own personal lives and stuff, but how time moves on and people's lives change and we get into different things or different hobbies or whatever. It's just I don't know, it just got me thinking. I don't know why, I just found it quite interesting. Just thinking about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I look at Colin. Go on. So sorry.
I mean, it does always change, and like for example, my kids are now. Well, my two are 16 and 18, so my sort of days of running around after them are kind of over. Although things have changed between me and my other half as well. So again, that sort of changes things. It's just that I'm sort of out on my own, if you like, and it just happened to be a week where I got invited out for about 3 evenings, and I do a quiz one night a week, and I do I meet the girls for dinner one night a week and stuff like that, and it's sort of been one of those weeks where it's all lined up. And every night I've been doing something. Yeah. So gaming time's been sadly all eaten up by other stuff.
Yeah, man. I was just gonna say just a minute ago, it was like Colin's interest. He's I love him to bits. But he's interesting because he still does from time to time game a lot, but he only plays Call of Duty. Yeah. That is literally it. Yeah. Because he just wants to jump on and have some fun. Like gaming for him isn't his primary hobby anymore. It's cycling and things and reading. He's got really into reading as well. Cool. But just interesting how we all change over time and things move on, etc. Yeah,
that's the way it goes.
Yeah. Anyway, Tag, talk to me. Played anything else?
Just one more. So it's a 16-year-old game, but I was playing NFL Head Coach 2009 on the PS3 this week.
Playing what? Sorry, can you say that again?
NFL Head Coach 2009.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, EA made 2 NFL head coaching games back in 2004 and then 2009.
Was 09 the last one that they made? Because that's all that's coming up on YouTube.
It was.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the last one they ever made.
Yeah, okay.
It's the Football Manager for NFL.
Is it because it's so shit? No one bought it.
It's fucking amazing, man. It's
so okay.
Good. I played the hell out of it on PC. I emulated it on the PS3 because you could get it at 60 FPS. So I've been playing it on my PS3. It runs at fucking 20, 30 FPS.
Okay.
It's a decent fix for NFL sim stuff because it's way more detailed than anything you get in Madden. They also never released it over here, so it was American only, so you have to import it. But I only found it 5 or 6 years ago. But it's really cool. It uses the Madden engine from 2009. It was the last Madden before they went more simulation back in that era. It was super arcadey, so it's not the most realistic in terms of stats and stuff. But it's really cool.
Nice.
Cool.
That might interest one person in the entire world, but it's it's if you like American football, it's worth checking out.
Nice, mate. The graphics still hold up quite well, actually. Just looking at a video on it now.
Yeah, they do.
All right, guys. Well, I've played a few more games. Please feel free to chime in if you wish, okay? Because otherwise I'll just be talking to myself. Right, so I'm going to talk about an old game and then a new game, and then I'll probably skip a few games. Actually, let me talk about the last Ubisoft game I played. And I only played it very, very briefly. And please tell me if you've played this. Star Wars Outlaws?
No.
I judge from the silence that... I don't know, man. I literally only played it for about an hour, so I can't really say too much. But I will say graphics are very good. They did a very good job with the graphics, but Jesus, the main character is really ugly. Like, where did they get this character from? I don't know. Looks like they dug her out of the sewer or something. But I just don't get it. Like I just wasn't like the lip syncing was off. The voice acting feels very wooden. And it's just basically feels very generic, just third person. And there is a story there, I think. And you're just kind of like this woman and you're trying to get off world, like shit's gone down. You're like working for some people trying to steal some stuff so you get money so you can get off world. And I don't know, it just didn't really engage me. So I don't know. It just felt very meh. And that is literally all I can really say about it because I played it for an hour and turned it off. I haven't deleted it yet, but I did turn it off. So
that game looked really rough when it came out, based on the videos.
Yeah, and it never reviewed very well either. But so I wanted to. I was in this headspace of all these games that were slammed. I just wanted to check them out, just for myself. Obviously, I haven't had enough time to play them all, so I've only managed to get an hour into this before I nearly fell asleep. But it's not great, really not very good at all. Which is a shame for Star Wars because big franchise like this, I thought you'd have a bit more decent games. But yeah, all right, let's get into something good then. I went back into, on the Steam Deck as well, only for a couple of hours the other evening, because I fancied a little bit of Red Dead Redemption 2. And, because I rinsed this on the Xbox when it came out, but I bought it on PC late last year in a sale, mainly to play on the Steam Deck, actually. It looks fucking amazing. And it just, I know I mentioned this when I played it, but, I talked about it around Christmas time. Like, this game is quite old now, but it just looks amazing. Like, how did Rockstar do it? And all the attention to detail. I mean, even the horses have testicles that move. I mean, come on. So I was trying to do the story, but then I got waylaid a bit. And this is what I wanted to talk about. It was, in the game, when you get to a city, you can pay for a train ticket and then it just does the cutscene and it takes you to that city, that city stop, right? If you can remember the game. Well, I was on my way to a mission and I got to the town, but I noticed that the train was just there was just there at the station, and I was just like, you know what? I'm watching the TV at the minute. I was sitting next to the missus watching a bit of telly, and I was like, I'm just going to see what happens. I'm just going to walk onto the train. I'm just going to sit there. I'm going to put it in first person mode and just sit and watch the world go by for 20 minutes. So I sat there, and the train actually goes round the whole fucking map. It's pretty cool, and it stops at the stations. People get on, people get off. I was thinking, this is just so cool. I was just thinking, wow, this is just, the game feels alive. The world is, But then I was like, right, I'm bored now. I'm going to get up and walk around the train. I was in motion. So I was like, I'm going to walk to the front of the train and see what happens. Anyway, I walk up a few cars and I get to a car and and the conductor was there and a couple of guys. And the conductor was like, you don't have a ticket. Get off. I was like, oh shit. Yeah. Cause I just walked, cause I thought, oh shit, I walked on the train. I didn't pay for a ticket. So he got angry and he kept on shouting at me like, you haven't got a ticket, get off. And then there was these other two goons there with him and they were starting to push me around. So I just got my gun out and started fucking shooting everybody on the train. And I killed two of them, but then I died, and then obviously I had to, and then it went back to the old save. But I just thought, just how cool is that? You know, the train just drives around on the track around the game as you're playing it. You can randomly just happen upon it and get on it and just sit there if you not, you know, and watch the world go by. I was just like, wow, that's just so cool, you know. So that was my little happenstance on Red Dead Redemption 2. So I just wanted to say that because, you know, these games are just, the worlds are so alive, aren't they? You know, and, you know, just super cool. Daddy Ickins just asked a question on the Twitch, and he says, have any of you seen the Atomfall DLC Wicked Isle? The trailer is out on Tuesday. Oh, no. It's out on Tuesday. There is a trailer, apparently. No, I haven't.
I have not. No, I haven't, and I haven't played the game.
I wasn't a big fan of the game, but other people liked it, so it's just a me thing again.
Yeah.
Graphics look good on this trailer, though. I'm just watching it now, actually. Oh, it's like a Wicker Man thing. That's what's called the Wicked Owl. I just saw a Wicker Man. Well, yeah, it looks interesting, man. Yeah, well, I've seen it now, mate. So, thank you very much for that. Right, let's get into the last couple of games I've played. I've only played I played 3 other games, but I just want to briefly mention my son and I have been playing a bit of Rocket League this week. Still a great game. So just wanted to give that a shout out. Fantastic fun. And if you have Game Pass, you get this is a different game I'm talking about now. You get 5-hour trials on new EA games. So Formula 1 2025 came out this week. And I have to say, my very early initial impression was, what's the fucking difference between this and 24? But to be fair, I didn't really play a hell of a lot of 24. Not loads. Because I usually wait for these games to come out on Game Pass, because with about 8 months, they usually hit Game Pass. We're normally around every January. But I'll tell you what, they've added quite a few things in this. So, and I played a little bit of all of these different things. So, last year they skipped the story campaign. It's called Breakpoint, which is basically a story of a brother and sister on an F1 team, and it's basically just kind of a story-driven thing, you know, with events going on. It loses a point for me for being a bit woke, because women don't drive an F1, so what the F? And a big part of the game as well is your custom mode, so you have your own driver, your own car. It's in like this F1 Drivers Club thing, right? It defaults you initially as being a woman. But it's an F1 game aimed at blokes, really. I mean, what the fuck? I don't get that. But anyway, aside from that, graphics are wow. Old man off the grid with his AK-47 is going to work. Living in Alaska, he's probably got to shoot some bears or something. Thank you very much for joining us, mate. Talk to you soon. What was I saying? Yeah, so on this, I've only played it on PC, so I don't know what the graphics are like on console, but I think they've upgraded the graphics engine ever so slightly on PC. They've added a lot of ray tracing options. I don't have the graphical power to have all of those on, but just the basics. And I will say the game runs smooth 60 FPS for me with a 3080, and it looks gorgeous. Looks really, really nice. So that's a positive. Apparently, I was reading online that they vastly improved the handling model from last year. Now, I can't quite remember what it felt like last year because I didn't really play it much at all. Maybe a couple of hours. Because I mainly played 23 with Darkest Frost because we did a co-op campaign on that. and then kind of fell off it and didn't play 24 much. Didn't buy it. Obviously, only played it on trial and then on Game Pass. And then obviously 25 I'm playing now. I will say on the controller, basically, so this is on PC and playing it with an Xbox Series controller. Feels really nice. I think, it handles very well. They do a good job. I know it's obviously not up to the haptics of a PS5 controller, but the Xbox controller does a good job with, it has the rumble in the triggers, so you feel it on the rumble strips and things like that. It just feels very responsive, which is really nice. And I did try it with my racing wheel, but I've always found that these EA F1 games, they just don't. I mean, it's playable, but it doesn't really give a lot of feedback, and it doesn't really have a lot of force when you're turning the wheel. It's very light, so you don't get like when I play iRacing or Gran Turismo on the PS5 with my wheel. It feels very solid when I'm turning the wheel, get a lot of rumble and stuff like that. It feels quite realistic. Whereas on this, it's all very light and you don't really feel the bumps, like on the curbs and things. So it's just it just feels a bit dead. So I actually think this plays better with a controller than the G923 wheel. I don't know what it would be like with a direct drive wheel, like a Fanatec or something. But with a Logitech wheel, I don't think it feels very good. I did tweak the settings and tried to use some recommended settings from online and still didn't feel amazing. But the F1 World mode, which is basically your own character, your own team, car, you could the customization's really cool. You can customize your outfit, your character, what your car looks like, etc. And it has that whole kind of upgrade process as you play the game and you get more of these F1 points things. So it's meant to try and keep you coming back, because that thing of you want to upgrade your car and stuff. I did do, so basically they have their own like weekly thing. So I did one of the weekly ones, which was obviously the F1 would just happen this weekend in Catalonia. So that was 25 laps of Catalonia in the rain. Which I did just to try and get the feel. And I will say, graphically, the rain looks amazing, absolutely amazing. And you can feel the car, like you have less grip and you're trying to, it's on the edge and it's sliding and stuff like that. Handling is great. So if you're an F1 fan, it's definitely, a really good game. And I did check some reviews online as well. And a lot of people are saying that this is the best F1 game that they've played in many years, which is really cool as well. So, but what they've added as well is the breakpoint story mode, if you're into that. But also what they've added is another mode, the F1 movie. So the F1 movie comes out the end of June. And they add, so there's DLC for this, which is £9. And it adds stuff from the F1 movie for you to actually race. But it doesn't unlock until the date the movie's out. But it gives you one race like a teaser. So it plays like a little bit of the movie, and then you get in the cockpit, and then you drive that thing from the film, if that makes sense. And it went in quite well because it gave you a little sneak peek into the movie, a scene in the movie, and then it kind of transitioned to you in the car, from that part of the movie. So that's quite cool. So yeah, I was quite pleased with that, to be honest. So
nice.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, though, mate. Because I play a lot of driving games, and I'm a massive F1 fan. But I'm just, it's one of those annoying things because obviously it's a full price game. My 5-hour trial, I've got like an hour left of it on PC, but I could then do a 5-hour trial on the Xbox. But your saves don't cross over, so obviously I'd have to start it again. But I like, a big part of me wants to buy it, but it's 70 quid. So the sensible part of my brain is like, well, I've enjoyed the trial. I'm just going to have to wait until the end of the year for it to come onto Game Pass now, you know what I mean? Because it will come to Game Pass. So that's in the back of my mind. Because I know it's going to come to Game Pass, it really puts me off wanting to buy it. Because in my mind, I'm paying just to play it, 6 months early, if that makes sense. Because it will come to Game Pass in around January time, as they always do. So, that's probably a negative about Game Pass, to be fair. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Oh, and the last game I've played, I nearly forgot. Big shout out to D-Twin in the community. Hello, D-Twin. I know you're listening. We did a big session on Lords of the Fallen again this week. Only one session because he had child issues and on one night, and I had a night where I was just too fucking tired to play games. So we only got one session in, but we're really enjoying it. We actually got to a point where it's gotten really tough. Actually, we struggled on a couple of bosses, but we got there in the end. But one of the things is we actually so the game is really the graphics are good and the gameplay is really fun. It's not as hard as a Dark Souls, but it's very Dark Souls inspired. But the thing is, the basic story, the thing is, there's these beams of light, and there's 6 of them, and you got to change the color of them for a story reason, which I'm not going to say. We've only done 2 of them, and the game isn't as straightforward as to where to go, if that makes sense. So we stopped because we were like, well, where the fuck do we go now? Because basically, in the first Dark Souls, when you everywhere ends up you going back to the bonfire area. Yeah, it all it's intertwined, isn't it? The whole world design is done in such a way where it all goes back to the beginning again. Yeah, that's this. Sorry, I'm just watching a video at the same time, just trying to figure things out. But so we got back to the place, the original place, which is a big bridge, and then me and Dieter were like, where the fuck do we go now? I've no idea. So we spent so I said, look, I'll just have a look online on a walkthrough guide just to see. And it said, you need to get a key from a guy and unlock a locked door in this area which you've been to before. But we couldn't quite figure it out, and we were just like, look, it's late, too fucking tired to figure shit out. Let's just call it a night. And then literally the next day he messaged me on Discord and says, I figured it out, so we'll do it next time. So that's all good, but it's just a little bit annoying when games get a little bit too convoluted in that way of stopping your progression because you need to figure it out, or you need to go online to look at where to go, if that makes sense. It's just not straightforward. But it is a great game. And as I mentioned in the previous weeks, that whole thing of the umbral world, it's like this world within your world, which you don't, it's like the spirit world, which you don't see, but then you use your lamp to see into it. Then you can cross into it, and it has different enemies and different paths to traverse, etc. It's just a cool concept. So yeah, it is a really cool game. As I say, it's on Game Pass. It's full co-op. You play the whole game in co-op. There's no pulling people in just for bosses or anything like in Dark Souls. It's full co-op. And it's just a really fun game, apart from that complication that I mentioned earlier, figuring out where the fuck to go. Because even in some areas, you get a little bit turned around or lost in where the fuck are we going? Don't know. Let's figure this out. But no, it is an enjoyable experience. And that's all I played. I told you I played a lot, Graham.
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
Right, news then. Let's have a look. There's been a tiny bit of news.
Go for
it. Hang on, let me just get rid of this. I've been saving it all through the week, so I've forgotten where we are. Oh, yeah, so there was a little bit of news a little while ago. I think we'd mentioned it, that Xbox were thinking about bringing out their own handheld device. Well,
Yes.
there's more news come out saying that Xbox have put their own handheld device, their official handheld device, on hold for an unforeseen amount of time. But what else I've read, though, is they're more kind of trying to push third parties, because you think of like ROG with the ROG Ally, there's a kind of an Xbox type version of that coming out with an Xbox button on it, because basically those had like the PC handheld space. It's just you've either got your Steam Deck, which is Steam OS, or you have like a ROG, which is Windows. So it's basically you can play Xbox games on that anyway, because you just download the Game Pass app, the Xbox app on PC, and play it like that. So I think that's kind of what they're trying to move towards, if that makes sense in my mind. That's what I think they're kind of more aiming for. But there was a few other rumours that they are more looking at their own handheld next gen instead. Doing like kind of a switch, maybe, but having two different consoles, like a handheld that you can dock and or a more powerful main console. So, yeah. That was an interesting bit of news. Anyway.
Yeah, you'd prefer if they'd actually make their own one.
Yeah.
It would actually feel like an Xbox instead of just something to play Xbox on.
Yeah, because I think if they did a kind of their own system, it would be kind of like its own dashboard, if that makes sense, like an Xbox dashboard. So it'd be like its own ecosystem. Whereas Windows is very clunky at the best of times, right? So for the non-technical person, something that's more easy to use, like a Steam Deck, would be more preferable, I would say. Yes, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. I didn't know about this because I haven't played Call of Duty for fucking ages. But apparently there's been a new Call of Duty update this past week or two. There is now adverts in Call of Duty in Warzone. What? So basically there is actual adverts in the loadout section of the game or something. And people are moaning, obviously, because they either paid for the game or got it on Game Pass or whatever, but it's making it feel like a mobile game, you know, because mobile games are full of adverts. But I think, like, stepping back for a moment, because I was thinking about this a little bit when I saw the bit of news. I don't know if you guys agree with me with this or not, but what people forget is Warzone is a free-to-play game. You don't need to pay for any other version of COD to play Warzone. It's just a free-to-play download on all systems. So they want to maximise the amount of money that they make from Warzone, like a mobile free-to-play game, because it is a free-to-play game. So they make money from skins, like for your characters or your guns, and now adverts. But I think it is naughty, but sometimes you need to step back and think about the other things about it. But on this article as well, it is saying that the adverts are also in Black Ops 6, which you do pay for, which I think is really naughty. So, yeah. That's crazy.
Was it always a free-to-play, or did it come... I thought it came packaged with Black Ops 3?
Well, Warzone?
Yeah.
No, Warzone's always been free. It's its own standalone thing.
Yeah.
Which is free to play. Yeah. I think it is. It does get confusing though, because what Call of Duty's done now is it's all in one hub. So you've got the Call of Duty kind of hub program, so to speak, and then we're within that it's got Modern Warfare, Black Ops, and Warzone, and then you choose what you want to install within there. You know, you manage all the files. You know, so it's gone a bit clunky. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, that's fucking adverts in games, man. That's crazy shit. Okay. What's this one? Oh yes, EA has cancelled a new game that was meant to be, well, that was in development, a Black Panther game, and laid off the team that were making it, Cliffhanger Games. But also, so EA have done that. So they've cancelled the Black Panther game, laid off the whole dev team at Cliffhanger Games who were making it. But also in the news, and we mentioned this last week, they're not having a good time, EA, because they also have sacked off Codemasters, who make who have made some of the best driving games ever made. Yeah. And they also, you know, they make the F1 games every year. So what the fuck's happened to that next year? I don't know. So they've shut down Cody's. They're not going to make any more WRC games or anything. Sacked most of the staff or moved some staff to other teams within EA. So there seems to be a lot of restructuring going on there. And from what I've read is EA are now only going to focus on a few franchises, and that's it. That's all they're going to be. So I think it's going to be your FIFA or whatever it's fucking called now, like your football and sports games, and just trying to make as much money from those games as they can, because, you know, people spend millions and millions on fucking FIFA card packs and shit, don't they? So I think they're trying to focus just on that now, which is a grand shame, because EA used to make a lot of high quality games, like all from all different genres, and just is a shame, I think, to see where they are at now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That Black Panther game as well was supposed to have an evolution of the Nemesis system that they used in the shit, what were those Warner Brother games called?
Oh,
whichever one of them had the Nemesis system.
Oh, the Mordor games, was it? Yeah, Shadow Mordor.
It was supposed to have an evolution of that system, which
right.
hasn't appeared since those games. It would have been really cool to see how that turned out.
All right, so can I just read this little paragraph out? It says, so these cuts come off the heels of multiple other rounds of layoffs and cancellations at EA over the last few years, especially in 2025. Just last month, EA laid off 300 people, including 100 at Respawn, while cancelling an in-development Titanfall game and another project. Earlier this year as well, they restructured BioWare so they moved people and laid off a load more. Last year, EA laid off 670 people. And the year before that, laid off 50 other more people in BioWare. So I've laid off a lot of people. Nearly around 1,000-ish people just in the last few years. So
wow.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of people. So yeah, it's not good, man. It's not good at all.
I mean, have they tried to stop buying fucking studios to shut them down?
Wow. That's it, isn't it? I mean, I used to talk about them doing that a lot during the 360 era, you know. And it looks like Microsoft is doing that a lot as well, aren't they? You know, they bought out all these studios and done mass layoffs and stuff. Excuse me.
What a shame.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. This was an interesting one I picked up on. Capcom have come out and said that its PC game sales are overshadowing console game sales, which is really interesting. So it says 60% of its game sales are on PC, compared to the other 40%, which are split between the consoles. Yeah, so I just thought that was a bit interesting indeed.
Yeah.
PC gaming is far from dead. So just wanted to say that. And my last thing is, obviously people know. Oh no, did I miss something? Sorry, no, it's not my last thing. Where's my? Oh, I don't know why I highlighted that. On the 8th of June, there is an Xbox showcase. Not sure what's going to be announced, but it's just so people are aware. 8th of June, Xbox showcase showing new games and things. 6 p.m. British summer time for those of us in the UK. And my last bit of not news, but just to make people aware, if they've forgotten, the Switch 2's out this week. I'm not buying one. But I believe Darren is buying one, and so is Sly Vesta Almond. Darren is still in Japan at the moment. But I think he's getting one. I think. We'll find out when he's on, hopefully, next week. I can't quite remember off the top of my head if he said he was getting one or not. Because I know he pre-ordered one off shop2.net, but I don't know what. I think that pre-order got cancelled or something. But I'm pretty sure he's getting one anyway. I'm not sure. I need to double check them. But yeah, I'm just interested because obviously, even though I'm not getting one, I'm still interested to see, and hear people's thoughts on new hardware. I always love new hardware, new software, new Mario Kart, stuff like that. It'd just be interesting to see how well it all is. So,
well, they haven't sent review units out, have they? They're saying
no, and I don't think they. I think when it was announced, Graham, they said that they weren't going to do it this time round.
Yeah.
And I think the main reason for that is, if I remember the conversation, was there is a day one patch for the systems for launch day. Yeah. So they didn't want people to use the system or play anything before that day one patch launches, because it's quite hefty apparently. So, yes.
Yeah, I think because they had some things with like their VRR support, didn't they? Which they said it did do something, and they said, "Oh no, it doesn't." And I think it must be down to software somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
So maybe that's it. Maybe they're just trying to protect themselves.
Yeah, what I'm quite interested about though is the way that the Joy-Cons click in with the magnets, instead of like the old Switch where it's like really solidly kind of slotted in. Like how well those magnets are going to hold up after prolonged usage, because that's all that's holding those Joy-Cons in. It's just a magnet. You know what I mean? There's nothing else. So I'm just intrigued as to how all that works. Because I can just envision, people complaining, "Oh, my Joy-Cons aren't sticking in anymore," or something silly like that. I don't know. It'd just be interesting. So that's all my news. Anything else from you guys at all?
Not that I can think of. The only thing that I happened upon while I was looking through the news is, do you remember that Microsoft released a patch for the Xbox? I think it was like a couple of years ago, where you could activate developer mode and run unverified software on your Xbox. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And people were using it for emulation.
Yes,
they are dropping the price.
Go on, sorry.
They're dropping the price of it. They're making that upgrade free.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
So I don't know whether that is kind of behind the scenes to kind of encourage third-party development for Microsoft, or or whether they're just kind of opening the system up and trying to get some people on there. I don't know, but they're basically they're making that particular upgrade is now free of charge, or it will be free of charge, I think, soon.
That's interesting, because do you remember when there was a small period in time when you didn't need the developer mode to do that? And I did it.
Yeah.
And I put some emulators on my Series S, and they worked great. And then it got disabled, and you couldn't do it anymore. And I think,
the
Series S it's the perfect little emulation machine because it's small, it's cheap,
Yeah.
it's powerful. What a little thing to use, you know? It's great.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
So
Mate.
there we go. So,
Yeah.
so if anybody's interested in that kind of homebrew emulation, then now's the time to look into it, maybe.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is super cool.
Can't see Sony ever doing anything like that, but there you go.
No. I think what Sony should do is just open up their console to run all their old games, like all their old disc games, like back to the PS1, and just let people just have at it.
Yeah.
Because
I don't know if they'll ever do that.
No, they won't, and it's a shame because I've got such a good library of classic games.
Hundreds of games that they could put on there, but they just won't.
And that's why that original PS3 is so sought after.
Yes.
The George Foreman special.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I had the PS2 and the PS1 and back compat, and then to save money, they took out the PS2 emulation. It was all hardware emulation, wasn't it? You know? So, yeah, shame.
What a shame, yeah. No, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, I forgot to ask for any questions this week as well. So there's no questions at all on the Discord because I've had a busy weekend, man. Been very busy.
Yes, so.
So, yes. So I'm guessing that's the end, unless anyone's got any question on the Twitch at all. See, Dougster's literally just joined and we're ending. Hello, Dougster. Do you have a question before we end, or does anyone else have a question? As I can see, there's a few people in the chat. Daddy Ickins there,
No.
Mr. Jelly. If not, I'm going to end. What am I watching? I'm not watching anything. I'm podcasting, mate. That's from Daddy Ickin. I'll tell you what, though. TV show-wise, I think that's what he was asking. Me and the missus got into kind of an old TV show recently called House, the medical thing. That's quite good. Yeah, we've been really enjoying that. So that's kind of our thing at the minute.
That Hugh Laurie, isn't it? Hugh Laurie?
I don't know actors' names. I just fucking watch the shows.
English actor, isn't he? He does an American accent.
Oh, does he? Oh, okay.
He's a bit of, is he a bit of a druggie or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the one.
Yeah, it's good. And I'm watching, and I'm also watching Yellowstone. I'm on the final series at the minute, and that's fucking awesome.
I know.
Yeah. So, and I'll tell you what I haven't watched is there was that movie of what's it face game came out recently. What the fuck? Until Dawn. The Until Dawn movie came out not that long ago, and I've not watched it yet. So I'm gonna try and watch that this week to talk about in next week's podcast because it'll be interesting.
Well, like I said, a couple of weeks ago, I watched that Borderlands movie because it was on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And it was okay, but I think a lot of people have said the casting was not the best.
No,
honestly.
No, and I do like to watch like movies or TV shows set from video games. Like Until Dawn, the movie's been panned a little bit, but I want to watch it for myself to see.
Yeah.
I have point blank refused to watch season 2 of The Last of Us because it looks fucking shit. I watched the first.
It's had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it has had a lot of panning, but
controversy, I think.
Yeah. I'm.
Is that a lot of like they've been talking about like how they're rewriting like critical parts of the story as well?
Apparently so.
Not just like it's. It sounds like they don't even know what their plan is for the story that they're doing on the TV.
Well, I just love the memes. Ellie says, "I'm gonna be a dad." And the memes, oh my God, I've been fucking rolling at that. Oh my God. But as I say, I watched the first season of it through gritted teeth, and I didn't think it was very good.
What I find interesting is my landlord has watched the first season.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even realise it's connected to a game.
Oh. Okay.
He's coming into it with completely fresh eyes.
Yeah.
And he is not aware of its connection to anything video gaming.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, you need to tell him.
I don't know. I mean, but if it goes down that path, I don't think he'll like the second season. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Daddy Ickins just asked in the chat. He says Mobland is great. I've not seen that. That's it is on my list. But he says, have you tried Severance? And yes, I watched it. Oh, me and the missus went through that a few months back. And I'll tell you what, if you guys haven't seen it, it's one of the best TV shows I've ever seen.
It's on Apple, isn't it?
Apparently.
Because I don't know how. I don't have access to Apple TV, Jim lad.
Well, nor do I. All right, but I managed to watch it. So
fair enough.
No, it is really good, and it was really weird because when me and the missus watched, we're watching it. We watched the first episode, and through the first episode, we were like, "What the fuck is this? Why is everyone talking about how good this is?" And then it takes a couple of episodes, and then it you kind of like, I need to know what happens next. It's because the first episode or two, it's kind of like setting it up, if that makes sense. And then you're like, what the actual fuck is that? I'm not going to spoil it, but it is so good. It's so unique, that I loved it. I thought it was so good. Yeah. So definitely check that
Fantastic.
out. Yeah. And if you're struggling to find it, Graham, I'll point you in the right direction, mate. It's fine.
Lovely, thank you. Enough said.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think, on that note, guys, I think that's it, isn't it?
I think that's about all there is.
Tag's been very quiet sitting there.
I'm still here.
Good man.
I haven't watched anything in ages, so.
Fair enough. Hardcore gamer doesn't watch any TV, look.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just too hardcore.
He is. Right. So on that note, guys, we're going to end it here. It's been awesome. Thank you very much for coming on. Big thank you to Tag for being the third wheel tonight. Thank you so much. And
happy.
Awesome. And on that note, guys, that's it. So from all of us here, it's been awesome. Thank you to everyone on Twitch who's listened live throughout this hour and 42 minutes, asked questions, etc. Obviously, a huge thank you to all the Patreons. You're all super awesome. And again, just thank you to all the listeners out there in podcast land. So from all of us here, it's been awesome. We will see you next week. Goodbye.